Islam Makhachev continues to push for a fight with Kamaru Usman, despite the mixed reactions coming from the MMA community. Following his recent win over Jack Della Maddalena, many were surprised when Makhachev chose to call out the former welterweight champion rather than another rising contender. Still, Makhachev remains confident in his reasoning and has doubled down on his interest in the matchup. In a recent interview with Red Corner MMA, Makhachev addressed the backlash he received after making the call-out. According to him, Usman presents the most difficult challenge available in the welterweight division. Speaking in Russian, he explained that, although the media claims the fight is unlikely, he believes Usman would dominate several of the division's young rising prospects, including Michael Morales and Carlos Prats. In Makhachev's view, those fighters have not yet been tested at the highest level, whereas Usman has already proven himself against elite competition. He argued that the storyline of a dominant former champion facing a reigning title holder could create strong promotional interest and an exciting build-up. Makhachev also mentioned that Joaquin Buckley was once considered a title contender, until Usman defeated him convincingly. He noted that Buckley would likely have been the clear #1 contender had he won. But Usman's performance quickly changed the conversation. Even so, Makhachev emphasized that he is open to facing anyone the UFC offers, explaining that the welterweight division is full of active contenders and he intends to stay at the top for a long time. Critics point out that Usman has been relatively inactive, competing only 3 times since 2023, and argue that such a fighter does not deserve to skip the line for a title shot. However, the discussion gained further momentum when Carlos Prates confirmed in an interview with MMA Fighting that talks of a potential Makhachev versus Usman bout are real. Prates stated that if Usman receives the title shot, he expects to take one more fight before earning his opportunity. According to him, the combination of Makhachev's preferences, shared management, and Usman's legacy makes the matchup possible. Makhachev later commented on the lightweight division as well, subtly criticizing UFC matchmaking decisions, suggesting that certain situations could be handled more fairly. Despite the ongoing debates, he remains focused on defending his title and facing the biggest challenges available. Justin Gaethje and Daniel Cormier have recently come to Arman Tsarukyan's defense as debate continues surrounding Tsarukyan's position in the lightweight title picture. Gaethje expressed genuine sympathy for Arman, acknowledging how unpredictable and unforgiving the UFC business can be. Speaking with Submission Radio, Gaethje explained that timing often dictates opportunities more than merit. He noted that even after defeating Dustin Poirier, Poirier went on to fight for the title, demonstrating how chaotic and inconsistent the sport can be. Gaethje emphasized that every fighter entering the UFC must understand that many factors are out of their control, and the only thing they can truly prepare for is performing on fight night. His comments reflected empathy toward Tsarukyan and recognition of how easily fighters can be overlooked despite their accomplishments. Daniel Cormier also voiced his support for Tsarukyan, stating that he believes Arman should already be competing for some version of the UFC lightweight championship. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, Cormier highlighted that Tsarukyan served as the backup fighter for UFC 317 when Ilia Topuria faced Charles Oliveira. According to Cormier, stepping in as a backup, combined with defeating Dan Hooker, were significant steps toward rebuilding trust with the UFC and earning a title opportunity. Cormier acknowledged the widespread belief among fans and analysts that Tsarukyan may already be the best lightweight in the world if Islam Makhachev were removed from the equation. While he did not fully endorse that claim, he made it clear that many believed Tsarukyan's skill set and relentless style make him a nightmare matchup for every top contender near the belt. As Tsarukyan finds himself temporarily sidelined from title contention, he has taken on new challenges. It was recently announced that he will face Shara Bullet in a grappling match on December 30th at Hype FC. The match will be submission only, with no judges or decision outcomes. Tsarukyan's elite grappling ability makes this matchup particularly intriguing, especially against an opponent as physically imposing as Shara Magomedov. Shara has a significant size advantage, standing 6'1" and weighing around 185 pounds, compared to Tsarukyan's 5'7" frame and typical fighting weight of 155 pounds. The clash of skill versus size adds an interesting dynamic to the contest, leaving fans curious about how Tsarukyan's technique will fare against Shara's physicality. Islam Makhachev and Justin Gaethje have both spoken out in defense of Arman Tsarukyan after the UFC's recent matchmaking decisions left many fans confused and frustrated. The controversy began when Dana White announced that Justin Gaethje would face Paddy Pimblett at UFC 324 in an interim lightweight title fight, with the winner earning a shot at champion Ilia Topuria. The news immediately shocked the MMA community, as many believed Tsarukyan had clearly earned the next title opportunity based on his performances and recent momentum. More than 2 weeks after the announcement, fans and analysts continued to express disbelief that Tsarukyan was overlooked. One of the loudest voices questioning the UFC's decision is former lightweight champion Islam Makhachev. During an interview with Red Corner MMA, Makhachev openly admitted he is confused by the UFC's matchmaking, stating that the choices being made recently are becoming increasingly difficult to understand. He emphasized that Tsarukyan had done more than enough to be next in line, and that the current plan forces Tsarukyan into yet another long waiting period. Makhachev noted that with Gaethje versus Pimblett now taking place, followed by Topuria's expected return later in the year, Tsarukyan could easily find himself sidelined for up to a full year. He described the situation as unfair, but acknowledged that the sport often places fighters in difficult positions beyond their control. Drawing from personal experience, Makhachev recalled that he had to go through a 10-fight winning streak before finally receiving a title shot, and he suggested that Tsarukyan may need to stay patient and wait for the right moment, even if the path feels frustrating. According to Makhachev, Tsarukyan has proven through both his performances and his willingness to take tough fights that he deserves the opportunity. He highlighted that the organization may not like hearing criticism, but many fighters and fans share the same confusion. Despite the discouraging situation, Makhachev believes Tsarukyan will eventually get his chance and that patience may ultimately play in his favor. The ongoing debate has further fueled discussions about fairness, merit, and promotional priorities within the UFC. While the interim title bout between Gaethje and Pimblett has generated attention, many still argue that Tsarukyan remains the most deserving contender. For now, Tsarukyan must decide whether to stay active or wait on the sidelines as the division reshapes around him. Dana White recently addressed comments surrounding his past issues with Francis Ngannou, offering a detailed explanation of what happened behind the scenes and why he ultimately chose to cut ties with the former UFC heavyweight champion. White clarified that when he references physicality, he does not mean that Ngannou was physically threatening or aggressive in a dangerous way. Instead, he described a specific moment during a disagreement about a $50,000 bonus. According to White, Ngannou insisted he deserved the bonus, but White stood firm and told him he would not be receiving it. As White began to walk out of the room, Ngannou placed a hand on his chest and told him the conversation was not over. White responded by saying the conversation was finished and left the room. He emphasized that while Ngannou was not violent, the moment was telling and contributed to his changing perception of him. White went on to explain his philosophy that when someone shows you who they really are, you should believe them. He stated that no one was originally more enthusiastic about Ngannou than he was. When he first met him, White believed Ngannou perfectly embodied what a heavyweight champion should look like and fully supported his rise. However, after the incident in Boston, his perspective shifted. He said the experience revealed parts of Ngannou's character that made him reconsider investing in him long-term. After Ngannou suffered a couple of losses, White told his team that he no longer wanted to be in business with him. That decision eventually led to Ngannou's departure from the UFC and his move to the PFL. White made it clear he has no interest in bringing him back. According to him, there is nothing more transparent than his stance. He is done working with Ngannou, and he does not see any future scenario where a reunion would make sense. White also stated bluntly that he felt relief in sending Ngannou to the PFL. He commented that whenever the UFC lets a fighter go, he feels sympathetic for the company that signs them afterward, suggesting the UFC only releases athletes for calculated reasons. In his view, once a fighter is allowed to walk away, it means the UFC has already determined the professional relationship is no longer worth maintaining. Khamzat Chimaev has addressed rumors suggesting he declined a fight with Nassourdine Imavov, offering clarity on why he is hesitant to face the rising middleweight contender. In a recent interview with ESPN, Chimaev explained that his reluctance has nothing to do with competition or skill level. Instead, it stems from cultural, regional, and personal ties that make the matchup uncomfortable for him. Chimaev stated that both he and Imavov come from regions with deeply rooted identities, Dagestan and Chechnya, and a fight between the two could spark unnecessary drama between their communities. He emphasized that tensions on social media can escalate quickly, and he has no interest in contributing to that type of conflict. Chimaev also described Imavov as someone he respects on a personal level. He mentioned that they know each other well, share similar backgrounds, and both practice Islam. Because of that, he does not see the point in calling out someone he considers a good person. However, Chimaev made it clear that he is not refusing the fight outright. If the UFC decides the matchup must happen and Imavov is equally willing, he will accept it without hesitation. He stated that he has never turned down a fight simply because of difficulty or pressure, and this situation would be no different if the promotion insists. Chimaev went on to explain that he communicated with Imavov's management, saying he is open to the fight under the right circumstances. If Imavov prefers to wait until Chimaev officially moves up in weight, Chimaev is prepared to make the timing work. Ultimately, he reiterated that he wants to fight anyone the UFC places in front of him, but he prefers to avoid creating unnecessary division among people from their shared regions. His comments have sparked discussion about whether such personal and cultural considerations should influence matchmaking decisions within the UFC. Many fans understand Chimaev's perspective, recognizing that fighters from similar cultural backgrounds may feel additional pressure when asked to compete against one another. Others believe that professional competition should override any external implications. Regardless of differing opinions, Chimaev's stance highlights the complexities that can arise when personal relationships intersect with professional obligations. As debate continues, fans are left to wonder whether the matchup will eventually materialize, and, if so, how the two fighters would approach the challenge. Opinions vary widely, leaving the outcome open to speculation as discussions continue within the MMA community. Francis Ngannou is facing major backlash from the MMA community after his recent appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, where he revealed that his PFL contract will end in mid-2026, just before the UFC's planned White House card. Ngannou openly expressed his desire to fight Jon Jones once he is free from his PFL obligations, a statement that surprised many given the ongoing tension between him and UFC President Dana White. White previously accused Ngannou of placing his hands on both him and Hunter Campbell during a dispute, and even called Ngannou a bad person. Despite this, Ngannou insisted that he maintains good relationships with almost everyone at the UFC, Hunter included. When Helwani questioned him directly about Dana White's allegations, Ngannou did not deny them. Instead, he avoided addressing the claims and said he was disappointed that the situation unfolded the way it did. He explained that he no longer wants to spend his energy responding to drama and feels people should ask White for his version of events. He added that what happened no longer feels important to him and that he simply wants to live peacefully. His comments triggered backlash online, with many fans criticizing him for both the timing and the content of his statements. Critics argued that Ngannou looks desperate to appear on the UFC's White House card and that he is damaging his standing with the PFL, especially after positioning himself as someone who wanted to fight for fair pay and create better opportunities for athletes. Some fans felt that his reluctance to deny White's accusations implied that he might actually have done what White described. Others pointed out that Ngannou has fought only once since signing with PFL, disappearing from the organization while pursuing boxing opportunities, which deteriorated after his loss to Anthony Joshua. Several commenters said the PFL likely regrets signing him due to the expensive but inactive partnership, while others suggested Ngannou has burned every bridge he once had, making a UFC return nearly impossible. Critics labeled him unreliable, self-focused, and inconsistent with the values he previously claimed to stand for. Shortly after Ngannou's interview, Oscar Willis revealed that he had spoken with Dana White and hinted strongly that fans should not expect to see Ngannou return to the UFC. The situation has only intensified debate about Ngannou's future and the consequences of his recent comments.